I am not
Morning,
quite
guys.
certain if that played out then, that thing.
It played on my end, so
It did on mine. I was like, why am I watching a blank screen here?
I can hear myself back in your microphone, by the way, so I don't know if you have the stream muted or not. But good morning to everyone that is here. If you guys are here, I assume you guys are here. Hopefully you guys are doing well, enjoying the start to the week, getting a little bit of price action going. So we'll hop right into that here in a second. Let me get the stream up so I can watch the comments, guys. A little behind, but that's okay. There we go. Beauty. And I show there's only, yep. All right. We do have people in here. Cool. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me and Max watching it from our computers back home and that it wasn't, you know, a non-live stream, so to speak. So let's go ahead and launch up the charts and we'll get right into it. So there we go. Screen 2. Beautiful. So levels are really, really simple here, guys. There's not much to work off of in terms of new data that's entered. Now, there has been quite a few longs opening up here, according to Max, as of yesterday when we spoke. But the levels that we've been working off of, and I'm going to get rid of this previous week EQ, it's just not necessary, were as follows. We were looking for 22,810 to 23,301 last week. I've been on about this level for the better part of a week. If you've been following me on Twitter, this show, or any of the other ones that you guys see me on, this is a large target. Main reason being is if we zoom out a little bit, you know, let's make sure we have everything in context of what we're looking at. You do have an overall range, right? So that overall range is a merged range from the dump. This is all one giant section of price at this point due to the overlap. And you can see this is your value area high. It's also going to be the value area high and TPO value area high if you were to look through ATAS. So a lot of confluence up here into that resistance for potentially a head short even. You do have some targets above us, which are going to be $24,700 and $24,000. That's just an area of interest. It's a weekly swing failure pattern and that weekly naked point of control. And I do think that, you know, if we continue to hold 22,407, which is the 6-month key level from 2021, that's been the level we were watching on the way up. We got some really nice respect off of it here after a quick rejection at 22,810. Back up to the highs, back down, takes the lows, right? And a nice swing failure pattern. Now you're trying to put in these wicks. Basically, stop losses are going to be here. So if you start losing 22.4, you know, I'm not saying it's the rally is over, but you do start looking down to probably we'll just call it $21,000 in my opinion. I think that's a target on the area or on the chart. I wouldn't overlook this area of the chart, that last local high from the FTX dump, right? So that's somewhere around 21,481 would be an area of interest to me. But realistically, I would expect to see these filled in. So not much to talk about there. That's as simple as it gets. I think that this is not a great place to be looking for potential longs unless you're longing this support down here previously and you've ideally taken some profits on those. Because again, I think that this is kind of one of those where we've got some gaps down here to fill. I think this CME gap below us is still unfilled because this wick occurred when CME was closed right before the weekly open. You know, if you look, your weekly pivots are down here as well. So it's just one of those things where it makes sense to come down here. My opinion on Sunday with the members was we will fill that gap, which we did not fill it on this wick. So I still expect to see that get filled. And if we fill that gap, more than likely, I would expect to see us come down and tag into this region. And you can see that there is a gap beneath us. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go all the way to 20K, but there are some things that say that that can happen. I know Max has got some single prints he's looking at. I'll let him cover that. But you are kind of giving up a key area right here at the weekly open. So I would be somewhat curious to take a look at the SPX. We'll do that real quick just to get an idea of what's going on. If you guys recall, we've been working off of this regression, and I've been giving you guys 2 levels specifically. You know, these are just high time frame pivots that have come in. This is the 6M1 for this year. And this was the support I was giving on Investing Bros, actually. And I've given to you guys at 38.85 in the group. If you're following Traditional Markets chat, you've seen that. You've got an exact bounce. You've come all the way back up, taking these local highs. Still have not broke anything. If you were measuring this with the shark pattern we've been working off of, you guys know how I like my pitchforks. It's a really easy tool right here just to measure it and say, okay, what's the trend like? If we break this trend, I'm looking for this to make a new leg down. And that, you know, that would coincide with some bad things for Bitcoin probably. So Just remember where we are at on the chart. We are at resistance. This isn't a place to be opening longs. I've seen some chat about that in Discords, that I'm in, and people are saying, oh, I'm not going to make the mistake and miss the low this time. And it's like, we haven't done anything to really constitute that this is the low yet. We've kind of started doing things where it's like, okay, this is starting to seem like it could likely be the low, if not, well, definitely a major low, but it's not the low yet. We haven't broken any market structure. So kind of trying to keep the head on straight there where we don't get ahead of ourselves. But a pullback is potentially happening. You've come into support. You've come back to the EQ of that and a high time frame average. Really need to see yourself getting through this and holding this as support, right? So if we can continue to hold on to some of these higher low fashion and push up through that quarter one low at 41.14, I think that's when this can get really very, very bullish. But, we have to trade the market for what it is. So for right now, this was a big take profit area for me. The long is still open. So is the short from higher. So you guys can tell I'm indecisive on the market myself. I'm just trying to make sure I have the best positioning for either outcome. So it is what it is there. I have not looked at the DXY in a little while, so we're going to look at that. Since it's the beginning of the week, let's take a look at the Dixie. What did we talk about? We said that this is support, right? This is our box of support right here at 101.761 to 102.21. You can see we've got really nice wicks, constant swing fails, and that we've marked this overall low with an alert just because it's good to have, because I think that if you were to lose this local low, then it's just a straight trip to Pound Town at about 96. So you are getting that push off of this, and this is macro support. So again, kind of getting to the idea that we're at an inflection point of the market. We're at the range high for Bitcoin. We're at resistance. The DXY is coming into support. The SPX has pulled up to major resistance. This is a very high time frame level, a yearly level at that. So it does make sense that a pullback happens. Does that mean that the rally is over? Not necessarily. Where can we start, saying, okay, this is going to be an extended pullback. Maybe we come back and challenge into some of these lower levels on Bitcoin. Well, we'd be looking at the DXY, obviously. And realistically, you can see how this has been ranging very, very well. And it's not done anything to really make a reversal. You had this range here, deviation, sign of weakness. So we knew this was going to be the area we were interested in, especially after you back tested this key level here at 103.418. Down you go. Now we're bouncing at support. Still need to see this do something of material, which would, to me, I'm pretty conservative in this case. 103.41 would be a nice reclaim. However, I would be, if we saw something like 104.775 get reclaimed, which is so far away, that's such a big move, and that's really kind of like overkill on the confirmation. But if you see something like that and you're still in doubt of the low, this being a pretty major low where we might cycle up to like 107 or something, I would say you might reevaluate what you're looking at, because I think that if you reclaim this range and make that move, you're probably going to see a decent sized move out of the DXY. And that would probably correlate to a pullback in markets. Does that mean new lows? Not necessarily, but we can play that by ear if it gets there, if we get to that point. So for right now on Bitcoin, we have a very obvious range to play, right? And we know that we're at support on the DXY. We know we're at resistance on the old SPX, right? So we have a very obvious range to trade with some really nice, easy levels. You have the September high here at 22,810, backed up by the weekly open. This little box of support is going to be important. I think it's fairly obvious. If you start losing this, you're going to probably start taking out some of these stop losses, maybe even take this overall low right here. But you would definitely be coming back to 22.4, in my opinion, maybe even challenging this low and filling in that gap down below. And then it's just, this is such a quick move up, a quick move down can definitely occur. So you're going to want to make sure that you're watching order flow, things like that. But right here, you are getting a decent reaction as well. So this is still range bound till it's not. I would just trade this range for what it is, right? So this is your range for right now. Trade it for what it is, guys. You're getting good support here. If you can make a day trade out of this, definitely do so. Maybe target the local highs and see if you can't take this out to the top side. Because Max and I have both talked about how preference would be, for me anyway, is still a push up and to take these local highs here. I would like to see that, but I don't always get what I want. So that's really all I've got on Bitcoin here. Really simple breakdown, in my opinion, really obvious triggers and levels to work off of. And it's not necessarily about predicting the market. It's really about just having a plan for when price enters an area of inflection, which this is an inflection point right here. So watching order flow, things like that will be somewhat important. I'll turn it over to Max.
Let me get my chart up. I had a brain fart backstage then when you were like, oh, it's the September high. I was like, that is why I've marked this level out. I don't know. I marked it out purely on the highs and lows. I was like, it makes no sense why this random area is getting so much bouncing and stuff, but it's the September high. And we marked this area out yesterday on the stream and said, the more you live above it, the more you can expect upside. The more you live below it, the more you can expect you to go and test the bottom area of the range. Right now, there's been a few trades today that one could have taken. You had a minor SFP from the highs, it wasn't great. But you've had a golden pocket that came in line with what we now know as the September high. Thank you, Magic. Which was a decent long that one could have taken earlier. And let me now get rid of that. The other one was, again, another golden pocket from the weekly open. So these are just pulled from different areas. This one's pulled from the previous day low, and this one was pulled from just a bit higher up a low that was made overnight. This one was a great trade, called it out in the group. Hasn't really gone anywhere. Well, not really. But if you go into the order flow and look at it, when we've come down here, you can see that from yesterday's stream when we were talking about just a sheer, huge amount of longs coming into the market, and for no real reason, you can see the open interest and the delta from yesterday was insane. Whereas today, as the days passed and changed, it's not really been the case where that has continued. It's kind of been more flat. You've had more shorts enter. You still have had huge open interest increases with buyers coming in, but just nothing compared to yesterday. And zooming into the charts, you can really see that it has changed, and there is a lot more shorts coming in now, which is great if we can start to put them underwater, and you can then start to think about that 24K target, that weekly naked point of control that we've got up there. And you can see when we came down to the gold pocket and the weekly open, and this is why looking at this type of chart enables you to see why FOMO is, it just ruins so many people, and why you should only trade setups. So we were coming down in this area to the golden pocket, weekly open, nice bit of confluence. You'd like to expect a bounce from that. Zooming into the charts, open interest increases with a ton of shorts entering here. This is people shorting, thinking, it's going to break the weekly open, it's going down, we're losing the weekly open, and then it bounces and they get put underwater. Now, with that being the case, some were clearly stopped out here, but you can really expect it to come a little bit higher, because not everyone's going to be so tight with their stop loss. They're going to be putting their stop losses above here and above this high. And it depends on, you can't really look at this chart and say, we've had 10 million shorts here. This is going to create a 100 million candle. $100 candle. When we break above this high, as they all get triggered. And you can't do that. There might be a way. I'm yet to find it. But yeah, I don't believe there is a way to really confirm that unless you've got God mode trading. But it's when you get these type of positions coming into a level, and then as soon as you get that bounce, you're like, okay, so not only have they failed to break the level, you're now getting a bounce and you're putting them underwater. So it's kind of the flip side when you're looking at a trade, and you might not be getting buyers coming in, but if you're putting these traders underwater, it's the other side of the order flow. You're not getting the move with you, but you're getting traders being put underwater as the price keeps rising, and that can be your entry trigger sometimes. Which is one of the confusing things with order flow, because there is many levels to it, and it does take some getting used to try and figure out, okay, what am I looking at here, and why do I want to take a trade from here? But you can see when you're getting these buying balances, that's a clear that you're getting strength in the move away, and the fact you put these shorts, because you zoom in, 3 million shorts there, 1.7 million shorts there. I'm just rattling off the imbalances here. There's a ton of shorts that have entered, though, are underwater. And then you're getting these buying balances. Granted, you're not that close to where you would have wanted to enter. But had you entered on the wick and then seen the buying balances, then that's then your confirmation. You've entered risky, more aggressive trade, but you're comforted when you see those buying balances come in the move. So it's why using order flow, it takes a long time to learn, and it takes, it all comes with experience, but there's so many levels to it that when you can kind of get used to it, you can see these things and trade it accordingly. But yeah, right now it's more difficult to say than yesterday. My bias remains the same, looking for shorts, purely on the fact that they're coming way faster. If you were to get in the SFP that we had earlier today, you're waiting a couple of hours, but then the move comes down and it's very fast. So my bias remains, considering where we are on the charts, in shorts rather than longs. There's certainly been long setups today, though. Rather than yesterday, we weren't having any good long setups. Today, you certainly are. Right now, I think the two main setups that we've got really are coming down to the previous day value area low, as well as, which I will zoom in a minute. Sorry if it was a bit of a blur there. But coming down to the range lows, you can see that if we pull the volume profile over this chart, you can see that if you're trading the deviations of this range, they're paying. So, longing down here, shorting up here, and, ideally trying to find a good position. And that comes with, ideally getting a trade set up in them areas. Can be many things, as SFPs, just to name one. But you can also trade the reclaims. You can also trade as soon as you start to break back in and confirm that you're re-entering this volume profile. You can target the weekly open. If in the long situation, you can target the September high, the point of control, the daily open for today, and the high ultimately. The deviations have been what to trade. But if we're skipping that effectively, well, I say not skipping. Longs are coming in from down here now. Previous day value area low of this volume profile, and the shorts right now, the best short setup that I can see, I would say, is up here at the previous day high. It was yet to be taken. There's been position building up here, and we can see that the shorts that have entered earlier, if they have not already been taken out, they will have put their stop losses further away. Well, they've put them probably the previous day high. It's a safe area for people to place stop losses. So when we do potentially get a move up there, that can be a setup for us to take an SFP. So easy as that, to be fair. But yeah, with what I'm looking at right now, it looks like we do have short still underwater. Loss of the current value area low for the day. I would be expecting us to go to at least the previous day value area low, but ultimately, where's that coming in at? 22,650. Where is this coming in at? 22,630. Yes, it's all in a similar area. If we would start to lose the current value area low for the day, which is a touch higher at 770, I would expect that region of the chart to be hit, and we can then reassess and take a trade from there. But ultimately, today's been, you had to be patient with your trades. It's really not been the easiest. It's been a bit choppy. But with patience, the trades will show, and that's really the two areas that I'm looking for trades: value area low and the previous day high. So be patient; they will come. It's been very choppy, so don't get caught up in trying to scout this, trade this, unless you've got clear setup. Then go for it. But if you're getting caught up in this, don't be too hard on yourself. If Magic wanted me to go over the single prints, I shall. But back to what we went over yesterday. Key area to hold, 22,200, really important area. You've got the weekly pivot down just above there. Lose that, I'm expecting a fast move down. With all the longs that we have had enter, they've not really. Yes, a lot of them would have been taken out in the fast moves down yesterday. But anyone that with a correct risk management may still be in that trade, have they not taken profits. The more that I stay in this market, the more I realize that a lot of people don't like taking profits that quickly. I'm not sure why that is. But really, when you're looking at it and you're seeing those fast moves down and just taking people out, it's like you were given a chance to take profits. Why aren't you doing it? So if you are trading this and trying to be a day trader, or take a little bit of money out every day, take profits. There's no harm in doing it. So don't be one of the guys that's in a long from here, allow the price to go higher, not taking profits, so then it's going to get wrecked when the price zooms down through this single print. Should we fall? But I do agree with Magic. Maybe we come and test this and then go higher to that 24K region, and that would take out a majority of those buyers and offers a good swing failure pan trade. But yeah, it's certainly the level that one needs to be aware of to hold to in order to go and take that 24K region out. But yeah, I'm not gonna try and confuse you guys too much, so I'm gonna call it quits there. 10 minutes. I think that's all good. You are muted, Magic.
I know. It's my boomer moment of the day. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, you guys were at support, treated as such for now. Also, don't forget you're just in a range, and be wary of the next move up, in my opinion, because, everybody keeps saying how extended this is. We did not really have a proper swing failure pattern, in my opinion, of the local high there that came in over the weekend, right? I mean, I think that's a weekend high, correct? So
yeah, you are right.
Something like that, if something like that occurs there at the previous week high, you could very well get a very nice trade. You just have to be prepared for it. You can't. We try to hammer this home. Just don't do anything like presetting on a move like that, because you can just get wiped out, because it doesn't have to swing fail, right? That's not something that has to happen. It's just a trade that we're aware of and it makes sense. So just take.
Do you know what? Trades. I have something to show. Actually, I'm going to bring my chart back up. Sorry to interrupt you there, but we had a great swing failure pattern last night. So where was the stream? Stream was back here. We streamed here. Was it here? Yeah, I believe it was. But we came up later on in the day and we got a swing failure pattern of this level. So if we mark it out, I believe this happened just before the stream had occurred. Then we got the dump, if I am correct. But then later in the day, we came back up and got a really great swing failure pattern. And we had people in the group messaging saying like, is it? And, it really was. So you came up, you closed back. And I know some people would have taken a short immediately there and got stopped out, which is unlucky. But then you immediately came back up, took the high again and closed below it. Now, the way that one could have traded this was entering when you made this like miniature lower high, then you're getting selling imbalances. I'm just laughing at you, Pep, because you both haven't got hair in the chat. I see you boys. Well, Magic hasn't got hair, but yeah,
I've not poking any fun. He's like, Max with the shitty haircut, and I'm like, bro, I cut my hair this morning, and I usually wear a hat.
Pull up your Instagram. I can always pull up your Instagram.
Let's not do that. I don't post anything on Instagram.
I'm saying twins. I'm saying twins.
Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely twins. I was like,
but yeah, as soon as you put those longs, you've taken me away. As soon as you put those longs underwater, you were going to get a fast move, and you were given 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes to really jump, identify what had just occurred, and the fact that these buyers, all at the top here, all these are at the top, are now underwater. And then you can really, you're getting these fast moves from the highs. So, they are the good trades that one can be taking. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that you'd be looking for in these swing failure patterns. That's a really great example for trap traders coming in and, being able to make money from their loss. So, be aware of that when we're trading swing failure patterns. If you're getting breakout traders coming in and then price fades them, jump on them coattails, because they normally come pretty fast. But yeah, sorry, Magic, to interrupt you that. I forgot that I was going to go over that. Let me bring you back and get
How
rid
dare
of
you?
this.
We don't need my face on the big screen. That's not ideal. But yeah, no, really simple stuff in my opinion. Well, I shouldn't say, it's simple, but it is one of those things where if you're patient, as Max was saying, like the trades are there. All you got to do is exercise some self-control on the leverage and the risk, and you're good to go. So I don't have anything else, man. It's been 25 minutes. We'll hop off here unless there's a question in the chat. Matt's giving me hair loss tips in the chat. Thank you, Matt. I'll get right on that. I'm all right. Bald is beautiful. I'm not long for this world in terms of hair anyway, so I'll be all right.
He's got it on his face. He's all right.
Yeah, no, you can go bald if you can grow a nice beard. That's the thing. You can rock that look. But if you can't do a beard, like if Max ever goes bald, dude's completely screwed. He's gonna look weird, as white as he is, no hair, just a mustache. It's not gonna be good.
No. just get sunburned relentlessly all over. It'd be like a tomato head.
You would just have to go get one of those toupees, or maybe me and you will make a trip to Turkey and get matching hair transplants.
I like that idea. I like that idea.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream on that note. You guys take care. If you have any questions, comment down below after